What's up everyone, Zirene here. This week on The Breakdown, we're gonna look at the record-breaking comeback by reigning world champions SK Telecom T1 in their Week 1 matchup against EDG. Orchestrating a comeback requires complete understanding of the situation, as well as the perfect setup and execution. SKT demonstrated all of these as they staged one of the greatest comebacks that Worlds has ever seen. Compositionally, EDG are at an early game advantage. They drafted an aggressive jungler and have winning lanes across the board. This allows them to dictate the laning phase and begin a snowball. But what this composition lacks is a true tank. It instead uses Janna to buy space for her double marksman and draw out favorable fights or reset unfavorable ones. SKT's composition loses lane, but has superior scaling as well as an ample amount of engage and crowd control to find and combo in teamfights. As SKT hit the mid game, they have 0 kills, are down 10,000 gold, and have lost their middle inhibitor. If they let another Baron fall into the hands of EDG, it would most likely be the final nail in the coffin for them. So instead of playing defense and allowing EDG to control the map, SKT create an opportunity to take the game into their own hands. Let's get into it. 27 minutes into the game, and 2 minutes before the Baron respawns, EDG look to push the bottom lane, and Wolf uses this opportunity to ward the pit. EDG want to siege bottom and use the incoming super minions mid to pull a member of SKT away and force down the tier 2 turret. But SKT want to keep EDG bottom for as long as possible. They don't want EDG to have time to reset and establish vision at the respawning objectives, so SKT fully dedicate themselves to clearing the bottom minion wave as a group of 5. SKT are even willing to sacrifice a large portion of the HP on one of their Nexus turrets to continue keeping EDG in the bottom lane. At 28 minutes and 30 seconds, SKT have now stalled long enough to execute their plan. Faker backs and begins pushing the mid lane wave 30 seconds before the Baron spawns, and the rest of the members of SKT give up the bottom lane turret to move towards mid. It wasn't that SKT didn't want to give up their bottom lane turret, they just didn't want to give it up that early. And by letting it fall as Faker shoves out mid, SKT get to establish mid lane priority, and because EDG haven't been on the top side of the map in the last 3 minutes, they don't have any vision on Baron, and SKT know this. SKT push mid and disappear into the unwarded river. This puts EDG in a tough position. EDG can risk approaching the brush that SKT are in, but while they are up 10,000 gold, their composition invests most of that gold into damage and not durability. So instead, EDG threaten to push up mid lane in an attempt to pull SKT back into the center of the map and away from Baron. But what they didn't expect was for SKT to engage on them. As EDG are looking to catch the mid wave, Clearlove sweeps and unburrows to clear a ward, but now his team no longer has Tremor Sense, and this small window is utilized by SKT. As Clearlove goes back into the ground, he's given the information that Bang and Wolf have already begun moving, but it's a moment too late. It's important to note that Wolf shrouded his exit from the mid lane bush. He hugged the wall closely, and this gave him valuable units of unseen movement and hid his intentions from EDG. As Wolf and SKT engage, their primary target is Mako's Janna. Janna is the biggest threat to SKT's teamfight because she can disengage and give extra durability to her carries. With that in mind, Wolf presses the quickness, flash, and grand entrance with Mako right in the center of his target location. He catches 3 members of EDG in his charm as iBoy dodges with Featherstorm. Everyone on SKT is ready for this moment, and without hesitation, contributes to the fight. The CC layering has to be perfect. If there's a gap in the combo, it gives Janna an opportunity to flash and Monsoon to save EDG and potentially turn around the fight. Puni preemptively casts Feral Scream and flashes forward to ensure the silence on Mako. Bang opens up with Venom Cask and Spray and Pray for damage, while Peanut flashes forward to land the best possible flag and drag. Faker casts Command Protect on Wolf and then lands a Shockwave on 4 members of EDG while forcing iBoy's flash. There's a brief moment after the initial engage where EDG aren't airborne, But Mako is still silenced from Huni's Cho'Gath and can't flash or Monsoon during that time. He is then instantly pulled into the shockwave damage and knocked up by both Peanut's Jarvan and Huni's Rupture. The combo from SKT left no counterplay for Mako once he was hit by the first CC, and SKT's priority target drops without being able to press a single ability. Scout's Lucian dies as well, and EDG look to abandon the fight. As Clearlove retreats, he gets cataclysmed by Peanut's Jarvan, which also traps in Eyeboy, who is now out of escapes. SKT then finish off Clearlove and Eyeboy, leaving Mouse's Rumble as the only survivor. SKT push and take 2 mid lane turrets, and then rush to the newly spawned Baron. After killing Baron, SKT have now closed the gold gap to just 4,000. And with a composition that outscales and a foot back in the game, SKT's comeback is in full force. Looking back, SKT displayed an incredible amount of composure in formulating this comeback. They were down all game, but kept EDG bottom lane until right before Baron spawned, and then used the time they gained to establish a mid lane push and put EDG in an exploitable position. SKT also showed one of the most important elements of orchestrating a comeback: patience. This same teamfight could have happened in the bottom lane during EDG's siege, but the reason SKT didn't look for one is huge. At 27 minutes, SKT had all of their summoners and all of their ultimates available, and between this time and when they actually engaged over 2 minutes later, the only item they purchased was a cloth armor for Peanut. This was not a teamfight predicated on an item power spike or a cooldown being up. The reason SKT went for the fight they did was because of the Baron. Winning a single teamfight at 27 minutes wouldn't have been enough to get SKT comfortably back into the game. If they had taken a teamfight in the bottom lane and won, all they would have gotten is some gold. And even more importantly, EDG would respawn in time to contest the Baron, and SKT would be down crucial ultis and summoner spells. With that teamfight win, 2 turrets, and the Baron, SKT's composition would come online in the late game and grab them the victory at 44 minutes, while still down in kills. This comeback from SKT is historic. No team at Worlds had ever come back from a 10k deficit 25 minutes into the game, since the stat began being tracked in 2014. With that comeback, SKT move into Week 2 undefeated and at the top of Group A.